Alright, you little tinkers, I'm Toastbloke, and today I'm here with my girlfriend Storm Design because I'm going to be giving her a tour of the park that I built in my Prehistoric Kingdom early access playthrough and getting some feedback, finding out what she thinks about it, so let's get cracking. You've not had a go at this yet, have you?
I've played it for about 10 minutes.
10 minutes. So
Yeah.
buy your game and all you do is play for 10 minutes and chuck it away.
At least I've played it.
Better than nothing, but I'm a little bit disappointed because this is your forte. This is the kind of game that you like to play.
It is indeed. I've played a fair few.
And yet you haven't played this
No.
when it was bought for you as a gift.
No.
Funny thing is, I've ended up playing it quite a lot. And my goal was to get a 5-star rating and to have a park that somebody considered passable. That's where you come in. I'm hoping you're going to give me a pass on this park. So, get looking around, get analysing, get giving feedback, and then we'll check in and see what you think at the end. That cool?
Cool with me.
Lovely.
Not an expert. Just enjoy playing these games.
You're better than me, and that's all that matters. So, this is the main entrance and main street as you come into the park. I based this on when I've been to theme parks in like Disney and things like that, and they just seem to have a really long path. But I regretted it because I think I made my path too long. It's a bit boring, a bit bland. But we'll have a look around and see what the crack is anyway. So, we're going to head into this apparel shop. These are prefabs. I didn't build them. And the whole aim was for me to just build using prefabs this series. In here, you get these kiosks and shelves and things, and you can customize them to different storefronts. And it's just a really nice touch, I think, being able to have a look around.
I really like that you can actually go into the shop because on the games I've played, you can't go in the
I'll
shop.
go in them.
No, you just get like a little kiosk stall thing, and you can build around it to make it look like there's a shop.
Oh,
But
right.
you
So you kind of just
build.
get this, almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a bit naff, that. Not impressed. This was 2 plazas, which both had their own mammoth and their own toilet, because they were identical. Stuck them together, and I had to get a little bit busy with the modular tool for the first time here. I got rid of one toilet and centered that one, got rid of one mammoth, centered that one, and then I copied, duplicated, whatever you want to call it, these flower beds here to create an end piece of the plaza.
Right.
I like how the bins kind of merge into the wall as well. I feel like that's a nice touch.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Like some nice handiwork there.
I did good. What annoys us though is nobody seems to want to ever sit down on any of the chairs.
Yeah, they don't sit in them, but they walk through them.
Yeah? I mean, that's probably more impressive, to be fair. We should probably take our hats
Yeah.
off to them. Where's she off to? Really nice rocks. I mean, I'm glad they're admiring the rocks because this was another go at modular building early on. And I just got some rocks, had to go resizing them, moving around to create almost a wall between this section of the park and the area behind, which is where the nursery is, where you make the dinosaurs.
I like that boulder. That's a nice boulder.
Here we've got some bushes that I tried to add to make it look natural. And I feel like most of them are okay, apart from this one that just looks like a big snake.
Oh, it does actually look like a snake. I didn't see that at first.
Maybe I
Now
shouldn't have mentioned it.
So now I'm just going to see snake.
We're going to see snakes everywhere we look. Anyway, I can show you around further, but the reality of this part is there's just 3 more prefab shops.
Right.
Prefab benches, prefab trees, and a prefab toilet. And then I got here and was like, damn son, I've got space left and I don't know what to do with it. So I just had to go building a waterfall using the skills I picked up from putting the rocks down over there. I feel like this is a little bit better.
I like the waterfall. I think if you had some floral stuff in there just to add some colour.
Yeah.
But what I would have liked to have seen here, and it's something I haven't seen in the game, is there is no children. They're all adults. But a children's climbing
That's a
frame
fair comment, that.
would be really cool. Like
I've
it was
not-
dinosaur themed.
I've not even thought about that, but yeah, they're all grown-ups, aren't they? This is like a 18-plus adults-only park.
I mean,
Whereas-
maybe they've seen what Nigel says and goes, it needs to be 18 plus.
Yeah, maybe like Nigel's in this park. we can't have children in here. I think if I was going to improve this, I'd want to also not use square paths for everything. I feel like that was a big mistake early on. And that was a big mistake with this enclosure here, the Psittacosaurus enclosure. I've since made it more into a D shape because everybody loves the D, especially Nigel. He really loves the dinosaur D. So hopefully he appreciates this pen. But these two Psittacosaurus have a little pond with some rock work, some reeds around, and I just added a little bit of a hill at the back, flattened this section off and put a prefab bed down because, like I say, I wasn't supposed to be getting modular with this plan. What's your thoughts on this for my first ever go at an enclosure?
For your first go, I think it looks really good, but I know you said you've used a prefab shelter, but I think what would look really cool, because you've got the rocks already there, is building like a cave enclosure for them.
Right. I wonder if you've missed an episode then, because if we head around here, I might have a surprise for you. This is the Nasuta enclosure, and this was my second one. I worked around this enclosure, having made it a curve, and had to kind of create something fairly long and thin to get more things from the back. But I added in a rocky cave shelter, put my light on, and I added a window in the back so the guests can look in and see the Nasuta while they're chilling and sleeping.
Oh, I like it.
I'm glad you do. I think it's a bit bland in here now that I've progressed though. I've really weirdly spaced the beds.
Yeah.
I thought each dinosaur had to have a bed its size. And I also just seem to have gone, terrain paints, who needs them? Plants, who needs them?
I mean, you got one plant there.
Yeah, one. Unless, maybe I put loads and look great and the dinosaurs have ate them all, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm a little bit disappointed because I'm noticing here that I haven't done any rocks around the water.
Yeah.
But I feel like my terrain tool use has improved. I feel like the water's a bit more interesting. And I do quite like how I've placed plants and things, although still a lot left to be desired. I'm going to ignore the enclosure behind us. We'll go and have a look around the back so you can see inside of this one through the window. Yeah, very bland. I think I should have maybe added some rocks along the bottom or at least a little wall and centered this.
I agree. But other than that, I think, did you say that was your second enclosure?
Second go at an enclosure.
I think you've done pretty well. For
I'm
the second
happy with that.
enclosure.
Right, I was going to walk up this really steep bank. It seems massively steep. But I need to show you this, because this is what the bank leads to. A bridge. Now, the reason I did this is I wanted to progress from each enclosure to the other and do something different. So I started off with just getting the basics. Then I added a shelter. And then I thought, what's next? Let's do a bridge that the dinos can walk under. So it's a prefab, but I had to get used to the mechanics of placing it. And I'm happy with how it turned out. Got a nice little gap under here that the dinos can walk through and people can look down. Prefab again, but shelter up there. Seems to be no dinos in here though. What's going on? There they are.
Over there.
They're over there. I added in some water and some rocks. And can you notice something that's potentially missing here?
A waterfall?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I have a memory of front facing this flat section to create an area to run a waterfall, and I'm guessing I forgot.
It looks like the perfect place for a waterfall, so
It
I
does.
think I forgot.
It does, so I feel like that's... Hang on. What the hell? Who's that? Is that Nigel? It's Nigel! Nigel's breaking in. He's going to attack the dinosaurs. Watch out. Guys, watch out. What is he doing in there, man?
Just having a little visit.
Little visit. Little visit.
He wanted to ride on the dinosaur.
Yeah, you want to ride the dinosaur and give them a little... Maybe we should call animal welfare. This wasn't my next enclosure, but it's the next best one to go through on the route. So we'll head up here. And what I did was create an enclosure for a creature, dino, it's this one here I believe, called the Carmarosaurus. Remember, because it's like karma, good karma, bad karma, Carmarosaurus. And I just built a bridge a couple of episodes ago. I was like, I want to build my own bridge. And I wanted to experiment with curves, like I say, because everything I was doing was square. So it was a pain in the backside, but I figured out how to make a curved bridge and then a circular platform. Since then, I've added this flower bed and put some sauropods in. What are you thinking of that?
I think it looks really, really good. I think what I'd just elevate a little bit more would be having under a shelter.
Right, so maybe like a canopy over the top of this section. I mean, it'd help if it rained. Like, that would be good. I'm sure the guests would appreciate that. At the minute, if they walk all the way out there and it starts raining, they kind of get back to shelter very quickly, can't they? So I think that's a good plan. The reason I'm saying as well that I put sauropods in here is because this became the sauropod enclosure. I noticed that the sauropods all kind of needed a similar size and amount of area. So I decided to stick in the Brachiosaurus and the Argentinosaurus and just adjust the enclosure. have a waterfall over here as well, by the way. So I'll remember to put that one in.
Yeah.
But if we come over here, I added this building because I felt like it was cheating, sticking in 2 new dinos and not adding anything to the enclosure for the episode.
Right.
I wanted to create a platform looking over so that the guests could get level with the dinosaurs with them being so tall. So I had to go put in a toilet in the building for the first time, I believe. And add a little restaurant under there and created 2 viewing platforms so guests can stand over here, have a little look when they're lying down. If they're standing up, if they pop up the stairs, they can see them real well from up here. Happy with that?
Yeah, I think it could have just had a little bit more detail.
Yeah. I
Few
think that's
extra
something I need to
plants.
up my game on massively. I don't detail the buildings anywhere near enough. I had to go. I was getting used to it. I was practicing. So, I mean, flower beds, detail for me. This is detail.
Yeah.
Stuck a random valve.
That's for flushing the toilets.
Yeah, you got to come out and open the pipe to flush. Yeah. That'd be mental if that's how you had to flush toilets. So that's the sauropod enclosure. Yeah, we're not doing this in chronological order now, but I guess it doesn't matter. This is the, what's it called? The Protoceratops enclosure. And it's like a baby trike, but it's not a trike. I think same genus, but just tiny. And I feel like my landscaping and terrain work, you can see an improvement here. Oh, there's one there. Teeny weeny.
Oh, that is so cute.
There's somebody deciding to go and have a peek. So I feel like the trees and the plants dotted around in and around the rocks was something I was starting to experiment with more. And I think that looks quite pretty. I wanted to do something special for this and build my first dinosaur enclosure where the dinosaurs could go inside. And there we go.
And there's
There's that
in
one
there.
just chilling there.
It's
doing the
moonwalking.
moonwalk. Yeah, moonwalking away. So I tried some different textures. I created another little pool, some rockery plants, and even added in. Oh, there he is. Added in a backstage area for the first time, which is an area where they can come if they want to get a little bit chill, feeling a little bit anxious or tired. Come and have a sleep and have a little eat. And you'll
Come
notice.
have a walk through the wall.
Yeah, just nut to the wall. But yeah, see, I'm getting a bit more interested with my placement already on the bed in
Yes.
there. So, oh, chill out. How's she here now, man? So anyway, I was over the moon with this, although there was still a lot that could be improved. There's loads of people in there now. Nigel's whole family's come. I think we'll head over to the Torvosaurus enclosure because that is really nearby. And I think that was potentially my 4th enclosure. Now, you'll notice straight away, this is pretty much night. What's he doing up there? Parkour! And that one, parkour! What are they doing, man? So, we've got a death wish.
Now he's having a swim.
Yeah, absolute death wish. So this here, right, is pretty much the same concept taken from this over here where you could look into there. And I created 3 viewing areas along this path looking in. And I thought for a change, why don't I put the water in front of the viewing area? So when the dinosaurs come over for a drink, the guests can see them. And it also maybe creates some sort of safety barrier to some extent. And I wanted to raise this up because I felt like the park was very flat.
Yeah.
So I raised this up at the back and created a platform around it. Custom wall platform plaza thing going all the way around. And I got this to just curve up ever so slightly around the back. And that then led up to going around the back of the Styracosaurus enclosure too. And I just feel like it made the park feel a little bit more interesting.
You know, I'm impressed with your terrain heights and that because it is something I struggled with in these sort of games is
Right.
getting different levels.
That's something I've done well in for a beginner.
Yes,
I'll
because
take
it's something I
that.
really struggle with.
He just looks stuck on there. Why they all seem stuck? The dinosaurs can't go anywhere. The guests go where they want. Maybe that's why they're like, the dinos, they can't get us anywhere, they're stuck.
I don't think the viewing points matter because they're just in the enclosure.
Yeah, just go where they want anyway. Let's have a look here because this was the first building I made, I believe that was my own building. And it is for the Acrocanthosaurus. So, what do you think of that shape for a building?
A little bit rectangular. I like the roof height's different. It's
Right.
A bit of interesting shape.
Balconies are,
Yeah, the balcony's
adds
nice.
a little bit to it.
And I like the different bricks and the wood turns. So
Right.
it's not just all samey.
Good. Now, as a way, it's very boxy. But like I say, it was my first go, trying to get used to it. Again, it lacks detail. I was really confused as to what I could do to make it look better. I know a little bit more now than I used to, but it looks a little bit scarce with the tables because I wanted this to be a restaurant. So upstairs, the guests can come and sit upstairs, have a little look around off the balcony and view the Acrocanthosaurus enclosure. But also, if they came in and popped down these stairs, why am I moving so fast?
It's the same in other games. When you're higher up, the camera moves faster.
I guess I am. I'm thinking I'm near the floor, but I'm not. I'm technically
Don't know
up
why
in
they
the
do.
air.
The games do that.
Yeah, it should base it from where the ground of the building is. So this is the downstairs, and I'll show you more of this soon. But I added in a restaurant and toilets. I think it was the first time I did that as well. I did get carried away though. This view just wasn't enough. Let's get the light on. And I decided to create a basement. So if I pop down here, just ignore the lag. Unfortunately, I've got an awful graphics card and it's trying its best. So I created a basement view so guests can come down here and have a look at the dinosaurs on their level, which I thought was a nice touch.
People on their level?
Yeah, you look at the people too. Yeah, weird. But this was my first ever flower bed, I believe. So I had to go to flower bed, added some down lighting. And the reason I put that there was to hide the staircase. Because if we come across here, this is the creme de la creme, or the Pierre de la Resistance. That's definitely not right. Pierre's a bloke's name, isn't it, in France? But whatever it is, it's that phrase that means this is the jewel in the crown.
Pièce de résistance.
I built a tunnel under the Acrocanthosaurus enclosure, which popped up into a 360 viewing area, which, again, I'm seeing more people from than I am Acrocanthosaurus. Where are they? They're all the way over there. Oh, there's one. So I was quite proud of that, quite happy with that. Thought that was an interesting idea. What are your thoughts?
I really like it. I think it looks really interesting. I just think it's very plain.
Yeah.
Again, it's just
I'm
detail.
basic. I'm basic.
You're
What can I say?
Just add some colour to your life.
I'll have to.
I'm
Have
your
some
colour.
Skittles. Yeah. You add colour to my otherwise bland life. That's a nice compliment from me. You look. So that is Acrocanthosaurus. I guess we'll stop by here. This here is a viewing area I created for the next enclosure, which is the T-Rex enclosure. I had this big window here and a lot of plain concrete, which is annoying us. So I made some flower beds, smaller versions of the one that we just looked at. And I popped in a T-Rex tea kiosk
I like it.
because it's the T-Rex enclosure. And again, not a lot of detail here, but just trying to give a theme or a purpose to the area. I've done the same thing again, where I've created a custom wall with a drop down and
So
the
people
water
can
in
swim?
front. Yeah, it's a nice
what
place
the
to swim.
walls?
Yeah, do what they want. But I think that's quite nice because, again, it creates some safety and a barrier, and it gets the Rex to come and eat and drink over here so the guests get a nice view from this area. Head up this path. This was, at the time, my favourite thing about the park, the Rexy Time sign for what is now the Rexy Time enclosure. What do you
Very
think
nice
about that?
sign. I like it a lot.
Punny in it, punny. Now I wanted to not waste the space out front as well, so I copied some of the flower beds. I added in some benches and lights. Got this here, which is a prefab statue of a T-Rex, which I thought looked good, and stuck that in the middle. I filled in the space beside this building with a toilet.
Good use of space, not wasting it.
Gotta do something. Now this actually started off as a circular building. I thought one wasn't enough for a T-Rex, so I got two and joined them. And I thought, how are the guests going to get in here and up to here? So I built this square, or well, these rectangular buildings. It's an L shape technically now. Out here, and I realised that this was way too big, and I had very little idea what to put in it. Added a store in here, but again, way too much space. I feel like this could have been so much smaller.
Yeah, I've got a little bit of a tip for that. I'm mainly building The Sims, but if I'm building a room, say a bedroom, I'll put a bed down just as a placeholder.
That's a good
just
idea.
to see the size.
That is a good idea. I saw something online where people were talking about putting in some sort of character marker or silhouette so that you can pop them
Yeah.
down and compare your building to. And I didn't think of that, so that's a really good tip. I will have to use that one. I'd love it if they made like a little character hologram for each of the
That'd be cool.
but change it to be a human or a dinosaur, and it like moved or something. So you'd have it down. It wasn't just a boring silhouette. I think that would look sick. But the guests can walk through into this cave, I guess, from the building, and see into the T-Rex enclosure. There's a section there for chilling. There's a bed for chilling even more. And then I went for the tropical vibe on this side to break it up and create a different area. And again, I guess this is for chilling. We'll do what the guests are doing, go through this glass. Yep, see,
Yeah.
he's going to get gobbled right up.
I can't wait till the developers add in that the dinosaurs can eat the people, because that would be funny.
I'm really looking forward to interactions like that, but I'm kind of hoping to fix the I can walk through a wall situation first, because if not, your park's just going to get rated badly because everybody's going to be dying just because they decide to have a cheeky wander. So there's a Rex there just chilling. I'm listening.
Why is it cute?
They are cute. They're really quite pretty. These are the furry ones as well. So
To pet it.
that is my T-Rex build. Thoughts, feelings, ideas?
I really like it. I like that you've got the interesting shape. Instead of squaring that corner out, you've gone for the angle. And then the circular buildings are also really, really cool.
I'm glad you think so. This is the Triceratops enclosure. I'm not sure what I think about this wall. I feel like it's a little bit 70s looking. And I don't like that the fence inside has posts that just don't match up to the windows I've built with the custom wall there.
I was going to say, is that a custom wall over the top of
Yeah,
the
so this is a fence
first one?
and then a glass fence and then I just put wall over the top. I was trying to speed up my building for the
Right.
videos. So I did things and thought I'd like to fix that and didn't bother.
Right.
But same kind of idea again, bringing some water up to the windows and creating some different levels for pools. This just builds up towards the back and comes to probably my greatest achievement.
This is
or
my
one of them.
favourite build that you've done.
I thought it was meant favourite ever. I was going to be like, yes. So this is an amphitheatre. It's not the Colosseum. It's just an amphitheatre.
I wish it was the Colosseum.
Yeah, I just knew I wouldn't be that good to be able to do that, and I don't know what's in the game to be able to feel like I can pull that off. So I just went Colosseum style amphitheatre.
Mm-hmm.
And if you come down here, have a view into the centre. Guests can walk all the way around, get a full
And in.
360 view. What, sorry?
And in. Walk around it and in it.
Right, yeah. The guests can walk around and in to get a good view of the dinosaurs. So that goes all the way around. But I added in a staircase here and created a second level, so a first floor. Now, this is messy, this build. It's really not very neat. I could have done better. And I got asked to put this on the Steam Workshop. So I made a new version, which I've uploaded to the Steam Workshop. It's not this one, but it looks neater, looks tidier, and I've made a much better situation of the way the stairs come up to this
Right.
level. So check that out if you want to. I'll pop a link in the description. Basically, guests can walk all the way around here as well. Now fancy, now special. Well, it is. It's fancy. It's special for me.
It looks fancy.
But I just mean, again, the upstairs is very bland and boring, is what I was trying to say.
Yeah, I think the only thing I would have done to make this better, if I was going to do it, was, I know you said it's not the Colosseum, but you know, like the Colosseum has sides where it's like falling in.
Right,
Do
it's
you know where the
run down over
dinosaurs
the years, yeah.
walk through? Have that as a collapsed section.
Right, so instead of this just being a lovely, nice, neat doorway,
Mm-hmm.
I could add some, I guess, a theme by making this look run down. There are some damaged building bits I saw recently. There's broken chain link fence and there's piles of bricks and things. So you probably can do some things that look like they're run down and damaged. I've not done anything like that during this playthrough. This is my little Parasaurolophus swamp. And I created some platforms. Oh my gosh, there's somebody on there. Oh my gosh, I'm not being funny. I've been trying to get somebody to go on there for so long. So that might have been a glitch, because none of these are trying to go on there.
And that was a very exciting 2 seconds.
Yeah, it's made my
that we
day
got
that somebody's used it for the first time ever. It's great. Anyway, swamp platform. This is a custom build. It's my first go at using the structural elements rather than the building pieces to create a building. So I was quite happy with it, quite proud of it.
Well, I think it looks really good. Again, just details. I love the
Yeah.
shape.
Well, what would I add for this to details? Because I I don't know what details would be for this.
Well, you know, you've got the chain link fence. I feel like it's a bit like a trellis. Could you not have like vines growing up it? Just
Could
add some
do.
greenery.
I think there is like hanging plants and stuff, so that would be something I could add to that to make that look interesting. So there's 3 of those along here. None of them ever seem to get used. And I just did more rock pools using the wetland theme. And if you think about this compared to my first enclosure, I think there's a vast improvement.
Yeah, there is.
So I'm really happy with that. Prefab bed for them over here. And then, like I say, the 3 platforms. The whole point of these platforms is I try to pick places where the guests would get a nice view of the amphitheatre.
So they can get a nice Instagram photo.
Yeah. Got to get those nice Instagram pics, you know, while you're at the dinosaur park. Otherwise, did you ever really go to a dinosaur park?
No, you didn't.
Probably not. So I'm going to turn around. This here is our iguanodon enclosure. It's full of poo. Maybe need to clean that up, but we're busy right now. Went for a different theme, but similar ideas to the previous one. But I wanted to make this one a little bit rockier than the last one. I finally decorated it. I've been telling people in the last few episodes I would, and I didn't. It's a tribute to everybody's favourite Chris Rock slapping celebrity. Now, I used to know Will Smith as the guy who starred in such fantastic films as I Am Legend and I, Robot and Men in Black and Wild Wild West. He was in all of those, right?
Yeah.
I hope so. But now he's just the guy who slapped Chris Rock, and I'm hugely disappointed in him for that. Hopefully he redeems himself. I don't feel like he's really done anything since then, just went quiet. This was an empty space, so I used another prefab. I'm now starting to think that's not the iguanodon, is it?
It doesn't look
That
quite
might
like the
be-
iguanodon.
That might be Edmontosaurus, and I've just thought it was iguanodon. We're going to pretend it's iguanodon. It's iguanodon. Nobody tell me anything otherwise, and I can just live my life imagining that I got this right. It's an iguanodon. Don't you dare mention it in the comments and say it's not. It's an iguanodon. Don't you either, because I know what you're like.
I was gonna.
You probably still are.
Yeah.
Do you think you can get away with that? Everybody probably is. Probably just going to be saying, it's not an iguanodon.
Everyone do it.
So, no. I'll honestly cry with cringe. Because you absolutely adore Halloween,
Indeed.
I made this a little bit spicy for you. I added some pumpkins,
I like it.
gravestones, and some Halloween coloured bunting.
It's very nice. I like the Halloween theme.
I'm glad you like it. What do you think about this little eating area? Is the detail improving?
Yes, 100%. I like that you've got the art.
It's like a mural across the back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The mural.
And then I added in some fencing and some lights and obviously the Halloween decorations. So improving slightly. I still just feel like these areas where I put the tables and that looks real bland. But we'll have a look in here. There's not much spectacular going on. But we'll have a look. Up through these doors. Just created another planter. It's a
The nice
different one.
planter.
And I gave it some lights. We've got some benches on this side just so people can come in and chill out. I don't know why the lights aren't on. I'm guessing the electricity has died. But the guests can pop over here and they can have a look outside of the window and try and spot an iguanodon. There's this window here into the sleeping area where you can spot an iguanodon. Get in. And I think this would be ideal if they did put in the two-way glass.
Yeah.
Because at this point, I am looking into the iguanodon sleeping area, and it'd probably be nice for them if they didn't have to look out at this face here. Or technically, am I looking out and they're looking in? Because I'm in the building and they're technically outside?
Yes.
Either way, I'm definitely looking into their shelter, so I'm going to say I was right there. Because nobody likes to be wrong. Although, I'm pretty much used to that. Just repeated the same thing this side, nothing crazy going on here. But the guests, when they walk out here, will get a lovely view, hopefully, of the amphitheatre again. You might be wondering what this contraption's for. Any ideas?
No idea, but it's a nice looking contraption.
You know, don't be stupid. Basically, I had a problem. This path, the guests kept walking up it. And I didn't want them up it. And I was concerned with them walking through every other single thing in the game that this wouldn't work. But somehow it does. That chain, the guests will not walk through. Oh my.
But they'll walk past it.
But they'll walk around, it turns out. God damn it. Right, anyway, there was guests all up and down here. There's not anymore. I'm taking that as a victory. He can do one. So this path, the reason I didn't want guests down it is because it leads to a little building I created. I actually made it for the T-Rex enclosure first. I just didn't show you, probably should. And it's an electrical substation, like a little powerhouse, to deliver electricity to the different areas of the park. And I just built the same thing and I've been customizing it. So I wanted that hidden away, not on show. And that's how I got rid of it.
So you
Bits
can
of
detail these areas really
Yeah,
well.
look, I detail this, yeah.
The bit that nobody can see.
Yeah, the bit nobody goes to, I'm like, I'm going to make a really good job of detailing that. And the rest of the park, nah, can't be bothered. That's the back end of the park, kind of explained and visited. What are your thoughts?
I like it. I think in the iguanodon shelter area for the people, not for the iguanodons, I think you needed a little bit extra added detail in there because it was very plain. But other than that, I like your little trick with the chain link thing. You just need to put that around all of your enclosures.
Yeah, just everywhere, yeah. Instead of using the actual fences, just use my little chain link wall. It'd be perfect. Anyway, let's head over to the next enclosure. So it's this way we need to go. And this is the Mammothus enclosure, aka the Mammoth enclosure. And I rushed this one. I had to get it done before I went to work and stuff. So there's not much exciting to tell you. But what I can say is I absolutely adore this biome. I think the red and the green, the white of the snow really contrast together nicely.
Yeah.
And I popped in another rocky shelter there.
Yeah.
Again, I left it very bland, didn't I?
I think it could have added a few plants growing out the rocks and stuff.
Yeah, I need to up my decoration game is what I think we're finding. But the landscaping, I feel like I was happy with and such. So I've won some, I've lost some. What are your thoughts about this?
I think it looks really, really good. So I've got a question here.
Right?
The snow, is that just terrain paint?
Yeah, just
Right.
put snow on and you just paint and then you have snow. Why?
Because in other games that I've played, when you put snow down, it disappears and turns into rock unless it's cold enough. You actually have to put like either heaters or coolers down to help with regulate the temperature depending on the biome.
That's cool. I haven't had to do that and the snow still seems to be here.
Right.
What is this doing here?
You wanted to see the mammoths.
Yeah, it's just having a look around the park. I'll put that back very soon because we're heading over to that enclosure next and we will take it home. We'll head across this path and you'll notice the T-Rex enclosure to our left and then another plaza opening up. And this plaza I created for this enclosure here, which if you can't tell from us carrying it about, is the Smilodon enclosure, and that is the final enclosure I built in the park. So hopefully find this one the most impressive. I decided to work with two different paths here, one for the main path and one for the plaza, just because it was looking too samey. I added in some prefab tree setups, a toilet, and if I head around the back here, you can see the electrical substation again, but tropical themed, because I decided to go with the tropical theme, having not used it at all in the park, because big cats make me think of jungles.
Yeah.
So that's what I went for. So you'll notice this looks very different to anything else I've built. Now I want to start talking about this fence. This is a custom cage style fence. I'm so proud of it because I managed to create an overhang, and look how neat that is.
And that
Look at
looks
that.
really good.
Ah,
I'm
so
really
happy.
impressed by that.
I'm chuffed. People don't see in the videos, but sometimes I try something that goes wrong. I have to go back and try again. That took us about 3 attempts, maybe 4 attempts. So I was so happy with how quickly I figured that out and how well it worked. If we jump into the enclosure though, most of the time was spent on this building and using the different materials. It's really fun. I feel like that makes it look decorated.
Yeah, it does.
And so I feel like going forwards, because everything looks too bland, maybe I need to use a better mix of materials when I'm creating my builds.
Yeah, I totally agree.
So, I did add decorations to this one
Yeah.
though. So got some masks and a couple of pieces of wall art. Got the bamboo floor, the bamboo pillars. This is palm weave and then just painted wood. But if
They
we
all
head,
complement each other really well.
I think that's the nice thing about me being in the tropical section.
Yeah.
You just can't go wrong. So in here, I'll have to put my light on, it's night time, is a pool.
Oh.
when I first put this in, I was just take the square out the floor and try to make a pool, but I couldn't get the square, I think because of the fence boundary,
Mm-hmm.
the enclosure boundary. So I just stuck a circle around it, and I think it looks real nice.
I like it. I want to live here.
I created this balcony raised sleeping area with
Like it.
area that can hide and go under and eat underneath. And not to forget, I gave the guests a view in.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really happy with how I used the materials for this.
Yeah.
And I really liked the idea of putting the chain link in the glass to make it look reinforced.
Yeah.
So I feel like that ties in real nice. We head outside. There's the Smilodon there having a nice time.
Looking cute.
Hopefully it doesn't run away again. I added another part in this building because it seemed a little bit too symmetrical. And that allowed us to put a little porch out here, which I was happy about.
Mhm.
And I created a little space where the Smilodons can come and sleep, chill, hang out away from the guests, which is nice because I think it's only the second place in the park where I've created almost like a backstage area. And that's something I need to do more. But this is the bit I'm excited to show you.
It looks exciting.
I created a climbing frame. You mentioned climbing frames earlier.
I did.
Yeah, but it's a climbing frame or a trim trail, whatever you want to call it. Jungle gym if you're American. I wanted to do something because big cats climb. And when I've gone to parks, zoos with cats in before, you tend to have apparatus that can climb on in different levels. So this is what I went for. A couple of little huts, little platform, a bridge, and the crowning achievement of this was to create a chain link tunnel across.
That looks really cool.
And I feel like I tied that in real neat. First go at that. But everything in this park's my first go at it because it's my first ever playthrough in a game like this. But yeah, I was chuffed with that. But yeah, that is that enclosure. What are your thoughts on that one?
I think like your Colosseum style one was my favourite.
Right.
With the way you've done it, but style wise and the way it's decorated, that one's definitely my favourite.
Right, okay. So this is the moment we've been waiting for. I need to know, would you consider this a passable park?
No.
No.
Yeah, I would.
You got said. I was really upset. Getting good. I'm glad because I've achieved my goal of getting that 5 stars. You think the park is passable. Hopefully people watching think it's passable as well. If you do, let us know down below. If you don't say anything. Just like you're not going to say anything about the iguanodon statue. There's definitely an iguanodon. I think that is going to conclude the park tour. So I would love to say thank you to everybody who's watched the series, who's watched this video, and also thank you to you, Storm Design, for coming and helping us out today.
Thank you for having me. I've really enjoyed it.
I'm glad you have. The pleasure has been mine. What I would also like to say, guys, please go and show Storm some love. There'll be a link in the description and a card on screen that you can click. So go check out her channel, go give her a subscribe, and go and watch some of her videos because I want my girlfriend to do well. And I want to do well. So if you don't mind helping me too, hitting that like button, subscribing, ringing the notification bell, it really would mean a lot and it means you get to know when the next video drops. So thank you again for watching. You guys take care of yourselves and I'll catch you in the next video. Cheerio. What'd you do?